Figures.
You've absolutely made things worse. I think the only way that we're going to get a successful recording is if you stand on your head.
I feel like maybe the blood rush might be too much.
Well,
for,
it's
for
either that
long.
or I stand on your head.
That's not happening.
Okay. You ready?
Sure.
Are you comfortable? Are you sitting comfortably? Good. Maybe it's a nervous throat gurgle.
No.
Because we didn't have pie. Anyway.
Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What have you been up to?
I have come to the conclusion that I am about done with the Labour Party.
It's disturbing, isn't it? On all different levels.
This week what's done it for me is that the party have announced that despite a bunch of testing going into it and a bunch more to come, the 2026 census will not contain any questions about gender identity or sexuality, in spite of all the relevant bodies asking them to let the ABS get on with it.
For goodness sake. Grr is all I can say.
So, yeah, no. In spite of my usual philosophy having been that, you know, you stick the majors in the lower house and then you let the crossbench flourish in the upper. No, I'm probably going to be voting for the Greens at the federal election.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Thomas, let me let you into a little secret. I have done that on numerous occasions. Yeah.
I mean, we're probably still going to get Labour here because
our
local MP has been very successful in the past. And
yeah.
But, no, it's not good.
No, it's not. The only thing that's consoling me at the moment is that it is worse in other places.
Yeah, I was watching the Northern Territory election over the weekend, and
My goodness.
Now, the Northern Territory is very swingy, I'm told, but wow, that was a swing.
Yeah. And I do confess that it is a difficult place to be in government.
Mm-hmm.
They have a very particular set of challenges and demands and conflicts of demands that are wild extremes.
So many problems that definitely will not be solved by lowering the age of criminal responsibility to 10. 10 years old.
As the rest of the country is trying to push it up to at least 14. Yes, let's just backpedal into the dark ages there. But the thing is, that is what the people who are voting, and that's the tricky bit, the people who are voting for that. There's a whole swathe of people who this is going to majorly affect.
Yep.
That aren't voting. And I'm not just talking 10-year-olds here. I'm talking about the parents of these 10-year-olds who are disproportionately filling up the justice system in that part of the country.
Jail begets jail.
It does. Yay.
Yeah.
What a great way to start the podcast.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, much the same as far as frustrations of people who I was led to believe knew better.
Yeah.
And have not been performing as such and are very much showing their colours as far as being influenced by money, I guess. It's just wrong. There's so much wrongness happening here. So I did a little bit of right. I donated some plasma yesterday, and it was great. I stress yet again, very much a happy place. Wonderful team, and it makes me happy there. So that was good, and I had some therapy, and that wasn't quite so happy, but worth it, I think. And yeah, not anywhere near as much walking this week as I would like to have done, because the weather has been pretty average. We are finally experiencing winter. I mean, there have been little snippets of it, but yeah, the last couple of days have been very weathery.
It is the 28th of August, and I have not yet turned on my heater this season.
I am impressed.
Yeah.
That is good.
No, it's bad. It means that the climate is...
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it is bad in that respect, but it's good in that the power bills that are constantly going up, all the bills are constantly going up.
Yeah.
The phone bills are going up, the internet bills are going up, the power bills are going up, the water bills are going up, everything's going up.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have not turned on the heater is a mixed blessing.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. I am currently wearing socks just to keep my toesies warm. Other than that, nothing is really jumping out at me.
Surprising no one, the Jackie Lambie network collapsed again this week.
The joys of person parties.
Yep.
It just does not work.
She's managed to keep one person on side, which is, it's something.
Motives, ? Don't know. But they're certainly not being as transparent as making demands of everyone else, so who knows.
I wish her luck interstate, I suppose.
Yeah, Buckley's interstate, I think, imploding to oblivion, basically. I say that she may well stay on for a while in the position that she's in, but any influence further than that. Gee, this is gripping stuff for our predominantly international audience.
Well...
Sorry. But that being said, this is our weekly touch base.
Yeah, it is.
I did have this horror realisation last night that I don't think I saw you yesterday.
Right.
And I almost tapped on your door and said, "Hello, are you still alive? I'm still alive."
Well, that is a thing that can happen when you go on walks a lot, and I shut myself up in my room a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Let's move on to much more happy, exciting things. Let's head into dystopia, I guess. Or post-apocalyptic. There's a difference, isn't there? You can have dystopia and post-apocalyptic, and I think this is
it sounds like we're doing a
post-apocalyptic.
kaiju movie here.
Yeah, I guess so. A bit of a British slant on kaiju. What are we watching this week?
We are watching Reign of Fire.
Would you please tell our dear listener what on earth Reign of Fire is all about?
When a London tunnelling project uncovers an unearthly fire-breathing beast from centuries of slumber, all hell breaks loose. 12-year-old Quinn sees his mother, one of the workers, die trying to escape this new terror. 20 years later, as a quote-unquote fire chief, he tries to keep a group of refugees alive with fierce dragons dominating the air, burning the land, and feeding on the ash. Unexpectedly, Van Zandt, a hotshot American militia leader, shows up with a ragtag group of slayers on a perilous crusade to hunt down and destroy the beasts. Tempers flare when there is a struggle for leadership, until both men realise only one species is getting out of this alive.
Pick me.
It's sheep.
Only the sheep survive.
Yeah.
I really don't know what we're in for. I have watched this film, but I don't know what we're in for. This could be interesting. It stars Jamie Bell, who, of course, we watched in Billy Elliot.
Right.
We did do Billy Elliot, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Still Under Wraps. It was a Still Under Wraps one, wasn't it?
Maybe.
I think. Who knows? We could look it up, but we're not going to. We're going to get Thomas to open the case. He's going to take the disc out of its case. He's going to stick it into one of the many machines that will play round-shaped objects and hope that it's not the microwave. And then we'll come back. What? We'll come back and talk about all the sparks and arcing, and so we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B if it's still there.
Once it's cooked on side A.
Yeah.
It'll be totally cooked. You mongrel. So what did you think?
It's okay. It's fine. It's a film.
How many episodes could I cut that quote from almost verbatim?
Yeah.
Can you expand on that?
I mean, it's
Okay. It was a film.
I've just seen a lot of films that are sort of like it, and it's certainly one of them.
Actually, I fairly recently watched one of Nicolas Cage's most recent Netflix, I think it was on, Arcadian.
Right.
And Arcadian had a bit of the same vibe. A monstrous thing has taken over the world and they're just trying to survive type of deal. And that was really bad, actually. So
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, this was better than a Nicolas Cage film.
Great.
And speaking of stars, I should clarify something. I made a major goof, I believe, at the beginning,
Yeah.
saying that Jamie Bell was in this. It was Christian Bale. You can understand the confusion, I'm sure. Both of them starting off as ballet dancers. So, was that a long bow to draw? Long bow to draw? Except they were using crossbows in this. Word association football. Good.
So the promise of this film is dragons have overrun the world, right?
Yeah.
And we only really deal with two dragons. There's a bunch over London towards the end.
There are a bunch over London.
But we only really deal with two dragons.
And I think that had a lot to do with budget.
Yeah.
Maybe. And to be brutally honest, I think even those two dragons and then the sudden congregation of dragons had more dimensionality to them than many of the human characters.
Yeah.
Who, for the most part, were... Actually, that's being kind. Even more than the most part, were very two-dimensional. Their motivations were painted in very broad strokes.
And you would think, it being dragons and fire being involved, that it would be a higher contrast film than it actually is.
Yeah, black and white and fire.
Yeah.
Red fire. Yeah. They were certainly going for an aesthetic there.
Yeah.
And they were certainly going for an aesthetic with the really corny dialogue.
Mm-hmm. We've already introduced some British stereotypes to this film. Why don't we also introduce some American stereotypes?
You lead, we follow. I lead, you follow. No, me, Tarzan, you, Jane. Okay, I did enjoy this film, but the clunky dialogue and the fact that, yes, it really felt in a lot of places that there were budget constraints, and a lot of the budget went on what was, I considered, very impressive dragon effects, but to the expense of... You don't agree entirely there? Dragons are hard. Dragons with fire is hard too, but How to Train Your Dragon certainly does it better. The other thing that budget-wise felt like it was missing half an hour. Mm-hmm. And that half hour was split over major scenes that felt like those particular scenes were missing big chunks. That first hunt from the helicopter, there just didn't seem to be enough shots to make that all make any sense. sense completely.
Which is not helped by it being very cloudy.
Yeah, and they lent really heavily into that, overcompensating for the fact that, yeah, there could have been some more shots there. And other things that didn't quite join up, that could have benefited with more rather than less, I think. Yeah. I need to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because I may have got entirely distracted there. But there was an egg extraction.
There was.
What happened to the egg?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't...
Yeah, nothing happened.
No, and it felt like something probably was meant to happen. Maybe a scene at the end where it was going to be Chekhov's egg and it would turn out to be a boy. And I don't know, son of Draco type of deal. So I wasn't imagining the fact that they made this big thing of this egg extraction.
Yeah.
But then
That's the end of the storyline.
They didn't even cook it or anything like that. Okay, good. It's funny that feeling that I had of going into this of a fear and trepidation of not quite remembering why I wanted to revisit this, and feeling like there was part of me that I liked about it enough for it to still be on the shelf, for example. And that's still there. I cannot condemn this film. We've certainly watched far, far more worse films than this. But it's not a great film.
No.
There are some good bits, but there are some... both the main actors really were struggling with the dialogue, trying to find their motivation. You're a grunt, and you're another grunt, but you're an English alpha male, and this is an American alpha male, and that's your motivation.
Put more grit into your voice.
Oh, and your mother died.
Yeah.
And a lot of your friends died.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
What do you need? What more do you need? Yeah. How about some dialogue? Okay. You lead, I follow. There we go.
No. More grit.
More grit. Oh, you lead, I follow. I'm Batman.
No, that's Bale.
But not Jamie Bell, who was not in this film.
No.
But Bale was.
Yeah.
So I'm Batman. Good. Okay. Do you have anything else?
There is one funny joke in there about hip flasks. It's like, yeah, okay.
I mean, there were some other attempts at humour there, but yeah, it just fell flat in a lot of places. And I think it actually fell flat as soon as the Americans arrived. Sorry, Americans, but I felt that things could have gone a lot better without you. I don't know. All right.
Yeah.
That was Rain of Fire.
It was.
It's still staying on the shelf. I'm curious to know what Daniel and Raven thought of it.
Yeah.
I suspect they would probably echo quite a bit of what we've just said. It's tolerable.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Well, if you have nothing else to say about the film, other than, hey, I'm glad that I watched that. My life is more enriched, and I can face another day having watched it.
I don't have any of that to say.
Oh, then we can't move on then. No, we're going to have to workshop this until you can say that. And then we can move on.
Unfortunately, this film is several years old, and I'm not sure any workshopping will change it.
All right, well, I reluctantly choose to move on, even though I have not been able to convince you, or I, to be able to say that in all honesty. So we shall move on.
The following segment has no title. Thank you. And we will start over on Discord with Entuosferatu.
Hi, Entuosferatu.
Who says, I've been busy, but now finally caught up.
Well done.
For next week, which is to say this week. I've not yet looked up anything about this movie, but any guesses as to whether we will be closer to Dragonheart or Ladyhawke?
I should point out that both of those films are on the shelf, and one of them in particular I have a very strong soft spot for. One of them, I am not going to say which.
Actually, there's a suggestion. Watch Ladyhawke. It's cheesy but good 80s fantasy.
Cool, I have a really soft spot for that film. Cheesy, yes, and cheesy dialogue, but not corny dialogue, like the dialogue in the movie that we've just watched. Yes, well, that has certainly been added onto our list of films that have been suggested by our dear listener, and who knows, Thomas might save us from, or he may not.
Yeah, good luck with that.
We shall see what happens there, but both good suggestions, and you have seen both, I believe.
Can't remember either of them.
Oh, really?
Oh,
that's sad.
If I've seen them, it has been some years.
Okay. Yes, that would be true.
Okay.
We will not continue to labour this point because they are certainly opportunities for conversation in that we could watch them and talk about them. So thank you for both of those suggestions.
Over on Twitter, M.
Hi, M.
Says, an important lesson has not been learned this week.
Oh dear.
I have to listen to the podcast at a reasonable hour, or I'll fall for a very obvious joke in the untitled segment.
Look, I have had serious words with Bolin. I did not realise that he had escaped from his cage and was running amok in the bulletin boards. So I do apologise.
The Swiss bulletin boards.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, be conscious when you listen to podcasts. Not necessarily this one, but that's just a sort of a general rule. That being said, 99% of the time I'm listening to podcasts, I am walking, so it's probably unwise to not be fully awake when doing so. Okay.
Which will take us up to the guesses.
It will.
Our first guess is from Entwosferatu, who has gone for a 7-character guess.
Fair enough.
Which is bold.
It is in bold.
No.
No?
No, it's not in bold.
Oh, it's caps, which is following the letter of the law. Yes.
Eftpota, EFTPOTA, which is just the initials of the title of the film.
So it is. That's clever.
But the fact that it is not in bold does mean that it is also incorrect.
If it is in bold, it is incorrect. Okay.
Is not bold.
Oh, it is not. Right, okay. So he was not emboldened by being correct. Sorry, Entwosferatu, that is not correct.
No.
I like it, though.
And M provides escapes. With 2 A's.
See, I read that as escapes.
Escape?
Escape?
Which is also, unfortunately, incorrect.
It really was not a good time for guesses of episodes.
No, because nobody was going to guess Escapultap.
Escapultap.
ESCPLTAP.
Planet apes. No, I wouldn't guess that.
No.
How did I come up with that, Thomas?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You would have to ask you from 7 days ago.
Has it been that long?
It has.
Wow.
Would you believe?
I would have thought it was only a week.
Would you believe? Weekly podcast, 7 days pass in between recordings.
Wow. Well, thank you both for your guesses, which were both far better than the actual answer.
Yeah.
If I could turn back time, well, that sounds like a good name for a song. I would go for one of those, I'm sure. But obviously I didn't go back in time to do so because it's still the same result.
Yeah.
I'm going to show Thomas what the file name for this episode is...
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that could happen.
It could.
It could.
It's, I think, a little more likely than...
Yeah.
Escapultap? Escapultap. Yes. I think it's a little more likely than that.
Yeah.
So, Rain of Fire, the file name of which is... ... Have a guess.
Yeah.
Send your guess in to any of the likely or unlikely bulletin boards. No, places where you can contribute comments and suggestions and guesses, which are listed in the show notes.
Yeah.
And in the blurb at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. Send them in.
Yeah.
Go on.
I dare you to.
Do it.
Yeah. You up the back there, who's been listening for 220-something episodes, except you skipped that one and that one, which is somewhat understandable. Yeah, you. Yeah,
Go
talking
on,
to you.
Do it. You won't.
Have a guess. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, people. I think we shall move on then.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
And it is your turn.
It is my turn. And I will not save us from our fate.
Right, I am reaching into my pocket to grab my white flag. I've been
Already?
pickpocketed. You've raided my pockets. I cannot wave my white flag. Oh, darn and dash. You're going to throw more monkeys at us.
I am going to throw more monkeys at you.
I reckon we've got enough monkeys now that if we gave them typewriters, I'd end up typing out the entire works of William Shakespeare.
So,
Yes.
Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Conquest of the box office of the Planet of the Apes. Let's squeeze this for all it's worth.
Thankfully, only, an hour 27, which is... We'll see if that's okay, won't we?
We shall. I mean,
Yeah.
The movie we watched today was only an hour and 35.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Would you, if you can find a decent enough plot synopsis, read it to our dear listener?
In the near future, domesticated apes have replaced pets and personal servants, until their continual mistreatment provokes one advanced simian, played by Roddy McDowall, to launch a daring revolt that may change the roles of humans and apes forever.
The apes are revolting. So, a prequel.
Yep.
Origin story.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
That's next week.
It is.
We are going to suffer. We are going to watch Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. We hope that you can join us as we do so. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
You mongrel.
Oh
dear. No, it's got to be done though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I mean, if
I've started, so I'll continue.
if we left a gap, we're less and less likely to get back to it. Especially if I burn all the copies. No.
Well, good luck. We'll be watching it on Disney Plus.
And in other news, mysterious fires broke out in the Disney Plus servers. And Yes.
I should go make some cover art.
I'm going to press
and do
stop.
it quickly, because I've got a Paralympics opening ceremony to watch later.
Much later. That's
Yeah,
at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
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 Right. Well, I expect a very, very good bit of cover art then, seeing as you've got so long to work on it.
I shall put my hardest effort into tilting a poster and coming up with a joke.
I do not doubt it. I'm going to hit stop here. What are we watching this week?
We are watching... I'm going to take that again.
Yeah.